Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and this is my review of Tomb Raider 2018 with Alicia Vikander. And so this is a 5 out of 5 star movie. I really enjoyed it. There are major spoilers in this content for the movie Tomb Raider 2018 with Alicia Vikander. All right, so let's get into it. All right, I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic, and it's really exciting because it fixes a lot of problems. One, I'm a big fan of, so I am a fan of Tomb Raider, the video game, from the very beginning, but only the beginning. So basically, when I was in my early 20s, I did play video games. I really don't play video games at this point very much at all. It's very, very limited. And I have not played the new relaunch of Tomb Raider, which I know was very popular. A lot of people really like them. I have seen those played. They're very interesting. I think they've done a really good job. With the new relaunches are good, but my experience is with the old games, and there were scene for scene shots that harkened back to the old video games, like early 1990s. This is really crazy, right? So, pretty sure that's when I played those. But Tomb Raider was really, really interesting, and so I'm a fan of the video game. And I thought this did a fantastic job of converting the video game IP into a movie setting, okay? It really, and also it's very exciting because this is a great movie. From top to bottom, this is a fantastic movie. And that's a big deal because you can count on one hand the number of fantastic video game movies that exist. Like next to this one, I think Jumanji, which is hardly even a video game movie. Right, Jumanji 2018, by the way. It's challenging to. Actually, I guess Jumanji is actually a 2017 movie, but in there. So basically, I really love this movie, and it's really exciting for there to be a successful video game movie. Let's talk about the people who are in this movie. So Alicia Vikander does an absolutely tremendous job as Lara Croft. When she's in the role, you just forget that you're seeing an actress. You really just see Lara Croft. This is an action movie with an action hero, and I really bought Alicia Vikander as an action hero. Right? She really, literally threw herself into the role, quite literally. And it's a very physical performance, but it also is really good acting. And I was amazed. I was really amazed at what a good job. Specifically, Alicia Vikander did with this role. Now, I do want to compare this Tomb Raider to Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider real quick. Not even close, no comparison. Alicia Vikander is hands down a much, much, much better Tomb Raider. And this Tomb Raider movie is much, much, much better than the first Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. It's better written, it's better acted. It has better actors in it. It's much more international cast. It's just way. And it's a better. I know this is gonna sound strange. It's a better family movie. So I want to talk a little bit about. You know what? Let me finish talking about the actors, okay? And then I'll talk about my experience going to the movies. All right. So Alicia Vikander does just a tremendous job. She really is really good in the role. And because it's Tomb Raider and your focus is on Lara Croft virtually the entire movie, that it was really important that she is successful as Lara Croft, and she is 100% successful as Lara Croft. You really believe she is Lara Croft. Really fantastic. Daniel Wu plays Lu Ren. Lu Ren is a Japanese ship captain who helps Lara and gets entangled into her adventures, right? And he does a fantastic job as well. He is the main second action hero in this movie, and he's Lara's friend. And he really does a great job, specifically in that role of adding to the action elements, being a friend to Lara, somebody she can trust, somebody who's really in her corner. Excuse me. And it's really excellent. I was just really, really impressed. I thought it was fantastic. Lu Ren, played by Daniel Wu, who came from Warcraft, the movie Warcraft, which I enjoyed Warcraft. But Daniel Wu was really excellent in this film, and I was very impressed to see his work here. Really good job. Walter Goggins plays the villain in this movie, and he was fantastic. I'm a big fan of Walter Goggins from some of his television work. I'm pretty sure he was in Prison Break, and that's where I saw him. I've seen him in a few different things. He's very... sorry. Walter Goggins was in Justified. He was fantastic in Justified. That was one of his best roles with Timothy Olyphant. I really, really, really liked that show, and I thought he was one of the best things in that show. And Walter Goggins really does a fantastic villain in this film. All right, so let's talk about I want to talk a little bit about my experience going to see the movie. I saw it opening night, Thursday night. I saw it with my entire family. So, actually, minus one. All right, so my family right now, my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter, and my youngest son, and my wife. Now, my wife was dragged to this movie. Actually, I texted her in the day, and I was like, hey, the girls are really excited about seeing Tomb Raider. They've been talking about it for weeks. Why don't we all go see it tonight? And she was like, okay. She does not like action movies, but, she realized... But honestly, my daughters don't ask me to go see a lot of action movies. So she realized that this was an opportunity for us to go see a movie together, right? Well, when you go see a movie with your family, with your oldest daughter, your youngest daughter, and your youngest son. By the way, my oldest son, he got a job and he's out of the house, which is very bittersweet. It's sweet that he worked hard, got a degree, and then immediately got a job. But it's bitter because I miss him. And like nights like last night where there's an empty seat, it's really hard that you don't have your full family there, even though that's kind of a good thing. So basically, the whole family went there, right? Well, when I go see a movie like that, the biggest thing is I want to we did the full thing. Like we got popcorn and soda and went and got our movie tickets. We're all in the same row. It was really nice. It's a memorable moment, you know what I mean? And there really aren't that many movies that you can enjoy as a family, and an action movie is definitely not usually one of those, right? Well, what was really nice about this film is when you're a father and you're a husband, there's this whole checklist of Hollywood, it's the Hollywood nonsense list, right? They have a huge list of nonsense things that are really, really important to Hollywood and important to virtually no one in Middle America. By the way, I live on the East Coast, but I feel like spiritually I'm connected to Middle America. So basically, and so when you're there with, the full family, and that's why people see these animated movies, is they will logically put this, shove this stuff out. But this movie, Tomb Raider, it doesn't check any of the boxes. All the stuff that Hollywood cares about is swept aside to just tell the story of Lara Croft, rather than, this is Hollywood. We want to make sure that you understand that these 9, things that are really important to us are important to the world. And so I was incredibly impressed with the lack of agenda in this film. It was just, let's tell an action story about a video game action hero, and that's just what it was. It was really pure, and I really liked it. It was awesome. So that was really nice, and we had a great time at the movies as a family. And I know this sounds strange because it sounds like I'm telling you about the latest Illumination, animated film, but this is a great family movie. This is a great family movie. It's a really cool movie to take your family to, which is kind of odd for an action movie, but I think I'm excited about the possibility of that being a thing. Action movies that you can go see and enjoy with your entire family. I didn't know I wanted that thing, but I think I really wanted that thing. So this was really, really fantastic. The story is really straightforward. It's like there's this Lara Croft's dad. Lara Croft's mom dies. Lara Croft's dad gets real sad. This is when Laura's a little girl. So Lara Croft's mom dies. Lara Croft's dad becomes really sad and then becomes like an archaeologist. And he's becoming an archaeologist to go find the supernatural, right? And so he goes to go find the supernatural and find proof of the supernatural. And he finds this Japanese folktale about Himiko, who is this lady of death, this woman who everyone she touched, there would just be bodies of people that died, okay? And so he goes to, and what he does, excuse me, is he goes and he investigates this, and he finds that on this island in Japan, there is this, essentially this woman, and she is a disease carrier. You don't know this until the end of the movie. You know, at first it seems like they're talking about a supernatural thing, but it's not a supernatural thing. This woman is diseased. She's a carrier of a horrible disease, right? And anybody who touches her physical body becomes infected and dies very, very quickly, right? And her corpse, which is kept in a tomb, which Lara Croft raids, right? Basically, at that point, you know, basically Walter Goggins, the bad guy, has been sent by this group called Trinity to find this Himiko's corpse and use it as a weapon, right? And so that's what it is basically it's actually a weapons of mass destruction. This woman's corpse is a weapon of mass destruction. And this evil organization, almost like Hydra, you know, but they call it Trinity in Tomb Raider, is out to get this thing and use it as a super weapon, right? So all this is going on, and essentially Laura discovers all this early on in the film. Well, actually, one of the things that was really awesome was the movie opens with a bike chase on bicycles, which I really loved. And Laura is spending her time as a bicycle courier, okay? You know, delivering snacks, like snack box or whatever, which is really kind of cool, you know, but you're also kind of like, why, you know, if you're a millionaire, why are you spending your time as a bike courier? So it was kind of odd, and she did not, and she chose, that was another thing. This movie really, like, defied a lot of conventions. One of the things in the film is her dad, like, disappears, right, when she's 14 years old, 7 years earlier, okay, because he's gone out searching for this thing, and he's, you know, he gets trapped on this island, and he's not able to return to Laura, right? Now, I saw Wrinkle in Time last week, and I saw Tomb Raider this week, and Hollywood, they have a lot of messages they want to tell, but I am shocked that they are starting to tell this particular message. This movie, just like Wrinkle in Time, carried a very interesting message, and it was, if you are a father and you leave your daughter for an extended period of time, your daughter is going to be seriously broken, right, until she is reunited with you, right? And I'm like, wow, you know, like, now I agree with that. I mean, I know, you know, I'm a dad, I have 2 daughters. I know how important it is for me to make sure that I'm there for them, to make sure that that I care for them, that I actually am in their lives, that I care about the things they care about, that I'm involved in their schoolwork, that, like, you know, that I'm there to give them advice about, you know, boys that are hovering around, you know, that one's, you know, it's hard, right? You got to be there. It's a daily task, right? And I'm just amazed that Hollywood is picking this up and, like, is carrying this idea that, hey, if you're a father and you have a daughter, you better stick around, man, because if you don't, your daughter's going to be way broke, right? Like, and I'm like, wow, like, this is really, like, I'm amazed this, you know, that 2 weeks in a row, a Hollywood movie is, like, clanging this gong about fathers really need to be involved in the lives of their daughters. And that after a daughter is reunited with her father, then everything gets better quickly, right? But until that point, everything continues to break down and get worse and worse and worse, right? Both movies, Wrinkle in Time and Tomb Raider, had this exact same point, showed with 2 different girls at virtually the exact same age, you know, like, I think the girl in Wrinkle in Time was almost 14, you know, like, and so it's kind of it's weird that Hollywood is hitting this note on both sides. It's incredible. All right, so, yeah, it was really strange. Anyway, so basically, the story's cruising along. She finds out her dad went to find this thing. She takes all of his research and actually, you know, researches it more in depth. And then at that point, you know, actually does a good job of finding out what is actually necessary in order to what's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah. So, yeah, basically she keeps going, and she does all the research, and then she finds out where this village is in Japan. She goes to Japan, and then there's this action scene, and boy, I'll tell you, this is a very unusual action movie. It really is a new type of action movie. right? So one of the things that was happening was one of the beginning action scenes is in Japan. It's a fantastic, really well-crafted action scene where Laura has her backpack stolen by these three adolescents, like teenage boys, one with a knife, right? And I'm like, this is an action scene? Like, 3 teenage boys? Like, any decent action movie, this would be, 15 seconds of, I punch you in the face, I shove you in the river, and I throw you also in the river, whatever, I kick you, or any normal action hero would have dispatched 3 teenage boys in about 15 seconds, right? But this is a big, long scene, right? Like, with her, like, actually fighting these teenage boys. I was like, boy, this is really different. So one of the things that this has is there's really this very distinct level up mechanic within the film where you're like, she's literally leveling up. Like, she's starting at, very small, limited combat skills. She knows how to punch and kick. She is in physical shape because she was a courier, and so she has endurance and strength. And then also she knows how to use a bow, and then that's it, right? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, wow. They do a lot with it. Like, the scene was really compelling. There's a lot of movement in it. There's a lot of, like almost acrobatics, and it's really is pretty amazing. I was very, very impressed with the action in this film overall. There were some things that were very, very surprising, right? One of the things that was very surprising was it happened in the Japanese, boat scene where they're chasing each other over these, in a port where there's a bunch of docks, right? They're chasing each other over these boats. And one of the things that happens is, like, one of the boys just punches Laura in the face, like, just punches her in the face, which again, it's kind of like, well, I guess, and that's the other thing is, like, every punch is like a big deal in this movie. They're like, this boy punches Laura in the face and she goes, ow, cries out in pain. And I'm like, wait, what? It was so shocking on so many levels as an action film, right? And I was like, you don't just cry out in pain when you get punched in the face in an action movie. Now, in real life, you totally get, punched in the face and then you cry out in pain. But you don't show that in a movie. That's like crazy, right? And I was like, this is weird, right? But then I realized, this is a different kind of story. Like, every punch is going to matter. Every kick is going to matter. People are going to feel physical pain, a lot of it, right? There's going to be, like, extended parts of scenes where you're just seeing the person, like, just writhing and moaning in pain, and you're like, wow, this is strange, right? But I came up in the 80s, and so, like, my action hero movies are really primarily 80s, and then I still watch those ones today. I mean, I watch modern movies made by Shane Black, like, you're still watching 80s movies there. So it was really interesting, but this is an incredibly well-crafted action movie. I highly recommend seeing Tomb Raider, and I think this is an awesome platform for a brand new, fantastic series of films, and I am very, very excited to see everything they're going to do with Tomb Raider. So that's my thoughts on Tomb Raider, and it's definitely a 5 out of 5 star movie, and I highly recommend seeing it. Take care.